Hello everyone, my name is Keir Johnson-Reyes. I'm a member of the Osage Nation and the IAC's Chief Stakeholder Engagement Officer. This is Tikaan Galbreath, who is a member of the Metaxas Traditional Council and IAC's Technical Assistance Director. In coordination with our CEO, Keir Lawrence, we have led IAC's data, interpretive, and visualization efforts over the last few years. IAC has been working to address systemic inequalities for over 3 decades. The data we have collected since our inception has never been about mere numbers. It has evolved with our growing capacity to reflect the embodiment of our stories with the producers we work with every day.
Each data point we track is a human story that matters profoundly to everyone with our organization. It not only shows the breadth of IAC's reach, but it validates our ongoing efforts to deliver meaningful support to tribal producers and ultimately our greater food systems. IAC was formed in response to the agriculture crisis in the 1980s and the blatant neglect of the federal trust responsibility to initiate much-needed disaster assistance across Indian country. As our founders came together, they shared their personal stories of being left out, of the make-or-break assistance offered as a result of the financial and weather-related perfect storms that impacted the entire agriculture industry. In contrast to their non-native counterparts, we're gaining assistance while our exclusion occurred when our founding IAC members went on a trip to Washington, D.C. in the 1980s to share their stories with the Secretary of Agriculture. Upon the arrival of our Indian founders and early contributors, the Secretary of Agriculture got up from his desk, looked out the window of his office, and pointed towards the direction of the Department of the Interior and stated, "You belong over there." Thankfully, we have traveled a long distance since those early years, and our stories continue to lead the way. Should have a video playing?
Yes, we should.
Yep.
There it is.
So at this point, you might be asking, why do our early and contemporary stories matter? Now more than ever. A primary reason is that the issues that formed IAC, while greatly improved in some areas, remain steadfast in others. As we have grown, our ability to track and assess the responsiveness and indicative nature of our assistance also continues to grow. Guided by the same organizational mission that formed us, our increased capacity is driving our support to individual tribal producers. Our growth continually reaffirms our commitment to those we serve, which brings us to our current horizon, the ability to tell our story through data.
Over the last 3 years, IAC reimagined how we track our impacts across Indian country. In the past year, we've begun to experience the fruits of this labor. While it's not the complete picture, we've focused on capturing the components of countless producer stories that comprise the foundation of our technical assistance. Our data encompasses our relationships with people and the land, reflecting on our core values and accomplishments.
The stories within our data include examples of determination, successes, failures, instruction, reflection, and everything in between. Ultimately, we intend for IAC's dataset to offer instructive feedback to both federal and non-federal partners through data exchanges and interpretation. Looking ahead to 2024, we're expanding our tracking capabilities across IAC, broadening our service footprint, and promising a more comprehensive data picture in the months to come.
These efforts position Indian country to achieve agriculture and food systems goals through the realization of strategic feedback loops that inform our assistance and the assistance of our partners. IAC's reach and impact contributes to the shaping of significant federal policy, which will equip the next generation of agriculturalists and land stewards. Through this work, we will continue to offer a counterbalance to historic approaches that systemically erase tribal producers from external decision-making that impact our communities.
The visual representation of our data across the country has in many cases affirmed what we've already known to be true. that our work is within the boundaries of credit deserts and food deserts that exist throughout Indian country. Our assistance tracking reveals that the broad-reaching impacts include some of the most remote areas in the country and how our assistance interacts with these persisting issues. Our data set also helps us understand where our focus should be placed across our networks.
Our aim is to do what we have done since our inception, tell our stories, while growing our capacity to do so. We are so excited to learn from this process and are extremely committed to utilizing our work in the data sphere to maximize our ability to address the critical needs of the tribal communities that we serve.
As we navigate these new horizons, we're committed to transparency and collaboration in our journey towards a more sustainable and thriving agricultural landscape for Native producers and communities.
I want to thank you so much for your attention to this amazing effort that we feel so blessed to be a part of, and I believe that the video will continue to roll. At the end are some of the very early inceptions of some of our data overlays that we've been doing. So please pay special attention at the end to a few of those maps that we've been able to design as the early, examples that we've been able to realize. Thank you so much.
I just want to highlight what we're looking at. This is an impact map overlaid by historic photos of IAC. So as you see these bubbles grow, that's our technical assistant network working directly with communities and with tribal producers. So we're really proud of this as a display of our work, and it's really just the numbers since 2021 that we're visualizing here, and only 80% of those numbers as we're continuing to clean up the data and make it more actionable for the work that we're doing. And we're working to include all service programs, so any of our programs that are working directly with producers will soon be visualized in this map as well.
Right now we are able to map around 8,500 individual assistance events across the country. One of the things that's been so affirming in this project is to see that we are literally to the bottom tip of Florida up to the upper reaches of Alaska, from the tip of Maine to the very bottom of Southern California and everywhere in between. That level of data and what we're able to really interpret out of that is quite staggering. One of the other things that is important to highlight is that each of those data points doesn't just indicate the assistance offered, it also indicates who we worked with in terms of our federal and non-federal partners, and which types of assistance were offered to be able to assess trends and to be able to inform IAC internally, as well as our federal and non-federal partners of where assistance is being applied. So we're very excited about the implications of this, and 2024 is going to be a big year for us to really expand this project out, and we look forward to being able to offer a great update next year.
To speak to the collaborations, if you are in the audience and you are a data nerd and you just would like to crunch numbers, or you have a good data set that you want to contribute, let's work together, let's make that connection and really just fully show the picture of what is happening in Indian country related to agriculture, so we can tell our story collectively and have that broader impact, each and every year, realizing more resources, more funding, more support for the work that we're doing across the nation.
We worked with Bear Cognition, which is a data analytics firm, with this project, and we're happy to note that two of the representatives from this great collaborator of ours are here and will be housed at the IAC booth, which is near the registration area, tomorrow as well as Thursday morning. And so they can walk anyone interested through some of our process, some of our public-facing products, and also talk about some of the great assets that they've been able to bring to the project. And so again, they've sent out a couple of representatives and are really eager to talk with anybody interested in this project or ways in which to collaborate. We've built the mechanism to enable new data sets to be brought into this project, again, to overlay with our assistants. So we're really excited to collaborate and to bring this forward to everybody.
Thank you very much.